they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Rock and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Rock and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Rock and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so hello, Juju B, Claudette, Leon is here. All right, most hated bronze flat power God. Let's get into it. Carly is in the house. Okay, Ursula is here. Nessa G. All right, Namaste. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, Shelvit. Okay, so with that all being said, let's have a brief word from my sponsor. Hey, little lady. Okay, hey, Desmond. All right, shout out to all of my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. I see you, Cheryl, with the people. All right, Claudette, did I say you? So let's have a brief word from my sponsor and we're going to get into it. I know I said we're going to talk about Trump, but information about Diddy came out, so we'll talk about Trump in the morning. I mean, after all, he's not going anywhere.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right. So don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and also you can find it at Walmart.com. Okay. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Now, with that all being said, let's get into it. All right, let's get into it because Diddy has chosen his prison of choice, and he wants to go to FCI Fort Dix. So let's talk about it. First of all, his legal team sent a letter to the judge. Okay, we'll get into that, but let's go to this TMZ report, honey, because clearly have jokes. They say, Diddy, I want to do hard time at Fort Dix. So Diddy got a preferred prison in mind for what he wants to serve or where he wants to serve out the remainder of his 50-month sentence, and it's FCI Fort Dix. Now, Tini Garagos, one of the attorneys who represented Diddy in his criminal trial, fired off a letter obtained by TMZ on Monday to Judge Arun Subramanian, asking the court to recommend to the Bureau of Prisons that Diddy be shipped off to the low-level federal correctional institution in New Jersey. Diddy's legal team says FCI Fort Dix is the best landing spot for Diddy because there he can address his drug abuse issues and maximize his family visitation and rehabilitative efforts. Now, Tini's father and longtime Diddy attorney, Mark Garagos, previously told Harvey on the Two Angry Men podcast that Diddy will have a target on his back wherever he ends up. Diddy's attorneys told the judge Friday at sentencing someone had already planned to shake him in jail. Now, other celebs who have done hard time at FCI Fort Dix, well, nobody that I can think of except for Teresa and Joe Gudici or Gudici. I can't remember how to say their names, but y'all know who I'm talking about from the Housewives, the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I actually used to watch that show back then when they were on it. When they went to jail, it was nothing more to see as far as I was concerned. Okay, so anyway, Judge Subramanian can recommend a prison for Diddy as well. Now, it doesn't have to be Fort Dix, but ultimately, the Bureau of Prisons has the final say. Okay, so Diddy's been locked up for over a year at MDC Brooklyn, and he will call federal prison home for 2 more years. Interesting, I want you all to pay attention because they say 2 more years. And why do they say that? Well, because likely they did the same calculations that I did. But let me continue. So it will be interesting to see if the BOP agrees with his lawyer's recommendation or if the feds ship Diddy off somewhere else. By the way, we checked. Herbal oil and prayer oil are available, but there's no baby oil in the Fort Dix commissary, although baby powder is available. Stay tuned. TMZ, sit down somewhere. Harvey thinks he has jokes talking about herbal oil and prayer oil. I like his nerve. LeVar says he clearly wants all the dicks to himself. LeVar, you know that was so nefarious, and then you set me up. Oh my goodness, you all are terrible. Do y'all see this? Y'all see what I have to go through with this nefarious chat? He clearly wants all the dicks to himself, Queen. Thank you for that. That was funny, beloved. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Look at Juju talking about I'm a hollering. Aren't we all? Oh my goodness, that was a good one. Okay. That was a good one. Okay, so everybody's got jokes. Okay, LeVar's got jokes, TMZ. Y'all need to quit. So anyway, but here's the reason that Diddy chose that prison. Okay, so first off, in the letter that they sent to the judge today, it says, Dear Judge Subramanian, on behalf of Mr. Combs, we respectfully request the court strongly recommend a designation facility to the Bureau of Prisons in Mr. Combs' judgment in order to address his drug abuse issues and to maximize family visitation and rehabilitative efforts. We request that the court strongly recommend to the Bureau of Prisons that Mr. Combs be placed at FCI Fort Dix for RDAP purposes and any other available educational and occupational programs. Thank you for your consideration. Respectfully submitted, Tini Garagos. Well, here's the thing. They want him to go there because they want him to take this program, okay, the RDAP program, which is to help him get off of illegal substances. Now, that stands for Residential Drug Abuse Program, okay? And here's the thing. You know, you have to meet certain requirements to be able to get into this program. You, first of all, have to have the the Bureau of Prisons has to agree to it that you're eligible for the program. Okay. And you can't be a violent offender. All right. And, with that all being said, some might say, well, Diddy is a violent offender. Well, Diddy wasn't convicted of any violent acts. And here's the thing. Common sense would say if Diddy wasn't if he couldn't be eligible for this, I scarcely think that his legal team, because let's not forget how smart his attorneys are, okay? So anybody saying that, oh, he's not eligible, well, I'm pretty sure his lawyers would know if he weren't. So if they're sending him there or they're requesting that he be sent there for that reason, then it's common sense that they know that he's eligible, okay? So with that all being said, because here's the thing, he may have been a violent offender, but he was not convicted of violence. Okay? So with that all being said, and here's another thing too. You have to still have a significant amount of your time left to serve. Okay, so we already know that Diddy's getting time served, but he got sentenced to 50 months. So even if we take away the 12 months, because he was arrested September the 16th, just as I predicted, all right? He was arrested September the 16th. So this September the 16th made it a year. And then this month, October the 16th, will make it 13 months. Okay, so he's going to get at least 12 months off for time served. With that being said, he'll still have enough time left for him to be eligible for the program. Because you see, the thing is that you only have to have at least 24 months remaining on your sentence to be eligible for this program, regardless of any time previously awarded, for time served. Eligibility depends on verifiable things, such as a lack of a violent criminal history, just like I said. Now, and I see Kane says that Diddy absolutely is a violent offender. Well, yeah, I have to agree with you, beloved. Okay. But as I said, he wasn't convicted of it. And if you want me to prove that to you, let's just go to Chat GPT, as I often do. Okay. Because oh, I don't even have to do it. Hold on. I have this literally in my emails. All right. Didn't even know I had this. Eligibility requirements for RDAP. All right. So it says they must have been diagnosed with a documented substance abuse problem. Okay, which we know Diddy has. He was a whole addict, even had even overdosed. They have to have at least 24 months left on their sentence, which he has. Okay, criminal history. Okay, they must not have a crime of violence conviction. A crime of violence conviction. That's what that means, Kane. Okay, they're going by your convictions, beloved. Now, okay, because that is what would exclude someone from the program, but he wasn't convicted of violence. I know that you all probably feel like he was, some of you, because that's all the judge kept talking about was the violence, but that had nothing to do with it. The judge was bringing up the Me Too movement, bringing up all this stuff that had nothing to do with what Diddy was actually convicted of. All right, and then someone said, I was listening to Conversations with Jay earlier. He did a wonderful broadcast, he and Sean G, but they were saying something about, because Jay was actually there. You all remember, because he hopped on with me after he left out of court. But I think it was either him. I think it was Tim. It could have been Sean G, but I'm pretty sure it was Jay that said that someone on IE or E News or something like that said that the judge was obsessed with Cassie. Okay. Said that he was obsessed with Cassie. So I guess that's how it came up to some people. I mean, because clearly he was focusing on the wrong things. All he needed to go by was the sentencing guidelines. All that other stuff he was talking about, the victims and this, that, and the third, honey. Diddy was not convicted of any of that. Okay, so I didn't know why he was worried about it. But anyway, you could tell the judge really don't know what he was talking about, because like I pointed out to you all the other day, he was literally asking the prosecution questions about what he could or couldn't do. That was just totally incompetent to me. If you don't know what you're supposed to do as a judge, perhaps you shouldn't be on the bench. That's just how I see it. Okay? I just find that interesting. This man didn't even know what he was talking about. He's sitting there asking the prosecution as if they have more sense than him. And maybe they do. I don't know. But anyway, that's how that went. Y'all remember. So, anywho, the time off awarded for completing the program is a potential reduction of up to 12 months from a sentence, like I told you all days ago, but it's not guaranteed. That's also up to the Bureau of Prisons to sign off on that. Okay, and if you get into any kind of skerfuffles or kerfuffles while you're in there, such as a fight or anything nefarious or whatever, get caught with, any type of stuff that you're not supposed to have or anything, that's not going to be good. So I don't think Diddy will be doing anything like that. I think he'll be on his best behavior. Okay. Oh, Kane said not a violent offender. Hold on. Hold on. Rev Minnie Dickerson said the judge was full of it. I absolutely agree. Mama Joyce said Queen's own lawyer said he was violent. Well, Mama Joycelyn, we know he's violent, okay? I'm not saying he isn't violent. Didn't I just say that I have to agree when they said he was a violent offender? However, y'all really do not listen. And I really hate to tell y'all this, but I don't like repeating myself. That's one of my pet peeves. Now, I do it often because some of you all clearly have cotton in your ears. Mama Joycelyn. Now, let me say it again, beloved. Yes, Diddy may have been violent, but he was not convicted of the violence. I just read to you all what they say. Okay, I have it right here in my emails. I forgot I've been had this, but my thing is, he wasn't convicted of violence. That's the bottom line. As far as they're concerned, Diddy is a first offender. Okay, he doesn't have any violent convictions. We know he's violent. Okay, didn't he go off on Justin's coach before, hit somebody with a champagne bottle? We know he's violent. I'm the one that told you all 1,000 times about the violence when I was reporting, okay, about different stories. Okay, and Kane, my apologies, beloved. I misread. I don't have on my glasses, so let me put them on because Kane actually said Diddy is, in fact, not a violent offender. Sorry, beloved. Well, he's not a violent convicted offender, but definitely he's had violence. Okay, we all saw the video, so we know that. D Major Skeleton says some of y'all are slow. D Major Skeleton, let's not call people slow. Okay, let's not do that, beloved. You could, however, put a turtle in the chats if you like, but just don't let them know you're calling them slow. Beloved, you got to be slick about how you do things. Okay, what are you thinking? You want the whole chat to go in on you? Now let's get into business. And another thing too, speaking of the chat, I was in here looking for I look at him talking about okay, Queen. I was in here looking at the chat earlier because I was trying to find someone's name to make them a mod. And I saw this comments. Hold on, let me see if I screenshot it because I think I did. I saw this comment that Queen Sam said on the last broadcast. I think it was Queen Sam. Yeah. Remember on the last broadcast when I was telling you all how mad and angry they were that people were drawing their own conclusions or trying to decide whether or not it was a serial killer in the Houston bayous? And that reporter, Isaiah Carey, got so mad. I'm like, why is he so angry? Like, dude, relax. But he was cursing and everything, acting all out of character. I didn't know it could be so serious. This is journalism, sir. You should be unbiased and just report the facts as presented. But he was going off and cursing everybody out, right? So Queen Sam left a comment saying, and I didn't even see this. She said, damn, is the reporter the killer? I hollered when I saw that. Not is the reporter the killer. Now that was a good one because, honey, as angry as he was, I certainly have questions. Okay, Isaiah Carey, beloved, I know you're a journalist, but are you a serial killer part-time? Because why were you so mad? The Queen has questions. Send me an email and let me know what's going on. All crazy, honey, but let's continue. That was all ridiculous. Okay, so anywho, with that all being said, Diddy wants to go there to FCI Fort Dix. And he said that it'll be like he can maximize his family visitation. Okay. So we'll see how it all pans out because, as I said, the judge can make a recommendation, and the judge, honey, just from looking at how the judge has been handling Diddy the whole time, I think the judge may recommend something totally off the wall that Diddy didn't even request. But also, as I stated, the Bureau of Prisons gets to make the final decision. Okay, so he may get what he wants and may not. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Danity Kane. Aubrey O'Day, because she came out and had some things to say. Diddy's prison sentence sparks former Danity Kane member to issue dire warning about music. Aubrey O'Day warned Because all of these people are, some of these people, I'm not going to say all, but some of these people are clout chasing. Some of these people have crawled out of the woodwork ever since Diddy got into all of this mess. Some of these people who we've never heard from them, they've been sitting somewhere dusty for decades. And we've not heard hide nor tell of them. Okay, they've had no claim to fame since they were done with Diddy, or Diddy was done with them. But at the end of the day, now here they come. And yes, Aubrey is still talking. Yes, honey. You know, they're trying to make as much out of this as they can, honey. So anyway, here's what she had to say. So she issues a dire warning to anyone that's trying to be an aspiring musician about the exploitation and entertainment in the industry following Sean Diddy Combs is receiving a 50 months prison sentence. All right, let's see what she has to say. I have not read this, honey. I just saw it pop up and I'm like, okay, this should be interesting. So Sean Diddy Combs, his former protege, Aubrey O'Day, issued a warning for aspiring artists after the rapper was handed a 4-year prison sentence Friday. O'Day, who was part of the Diddy-backed girl group Danity Kane, gave a cautionary reminder to young musicians to pay attention to how they're being treated by people in positions of power, saying, "Let this serve as a cautionary reminder to young and aspiring individuals pursuing their dreams." This is what she wrote in a statement posted on X. "The true warning is not that a jury may doubt your testimony, nor that a court sentencing guidelines may fail to reflect the years of suffering you endured." Clearly, she's pressed because he only got 50 months. But anyway, the real warning is this: the moment someone is in a position of power and they overstep your boundaries or demand more than is legitimately required of you, walk away and do not look back. Now, Diddy was sentenced to 50 months in prison on federal prostitution charges on Friday. Federal Judge Arun Subramanian imposed 5 years of supervised release, and the rapper was hit with a $500,000 fine. O'Day worked with Combs on season 3 of Making the Band. Danity Kane was formed with D. Woods, Shannon Bex, Dawn Richard, Andrea Fimbre, I don't even remember her, and Aubrey O'Day. Now, some of the women, including O'Day, have come forward to call out Diddy's alleged behavior in the years since. Okay, no dream, however bright, can outweigh the pain and exploitation that may follow if you remain, she says. Too often, those who misuse their power, even when exposed, face far fewer consequences than the harm inflicted upon their victims. Protect yourself at the first sign of coercion or impropriety. If something feels wrong, trust that instinct and remove yourself from the situation. Your well-being is worth more than an opportunity. Before handing down the sentence, Subramanian acknowledged Diddy's difficult upbringing and devotion to his family. He said that after considering all of your history and with respect to freak-offs and hotel nights, he determined a significant sentence was warranted. Court rejects that these were just intimate consensual experiences, or sex, rugs, and rock and roll story. Okay, you abused power and controlled women that you had relationships with. He went on to say, hold on, these pop-ups. He went on to say, why did it happen so long? Because you had power and resources. You were no John. You were more than that. Even if your currency was your own desire. On deterrence requires a significant sentence. Now, when the judge imposed his sentence, Diddy had no reaction. He sat silently looking forward with his hands folded in his lap. Days before Diddy was set to appear in court for his sentencing, Subramanian rejected the rapper's last-ditch request for a new trial and demand for a full acquittal. The federal judge said the prosecution provided overwhelming evidence of Diddy's guilt on the charges of transportation to engage in prostitution. Judge, they did not provide overwhelming evidence. Please sit down somewhere. Okay, that's what they didn't do, sir. But anyway, so I mean, what do you all think? I think the judge was doing the most. Okay. And then, like Jay said, the judge acted as a 13th juror because basically the judge didn't respect the juror's decisions. Okay. Because they didn't go how he wanted it to go, in my opinion, and many others. Okay. That's how that went. The judge should have just gone by the sentencing guidelines, as far as I'm concerned. But bottom line is, Diddy still didn't get a lot of time. You had fools out here lying, saying, oh, they were mad because he beat the serious charges. And they're, oh, well, he's still gonna get 20 years. He's gonna get 10 for each one. Now they're looking stupid. And so now all they can say is, "Now, do y'all think this is fair? Do y'all think justice was served? I think he should have gotten 5 to 7." Somebody sent me the video. I hollered. I think he should have gotten 5 to 7. No, that's not what you think. You thought he should have gotten 10 for each one, which would have been 20. But since you knew good and well that wasn't gonna happen, honey, you don't want to look any more stupid than you already look. So now you just chopped it down to 5 to 7. And at the end of the day, we know you're mad and butthurt. That's why you're still over there lying, talking about Diddy was going on a book tour. I'm sorry, when did Diddy write a book? Just out here lying to be lying. Now, y'all know that they explained that by basically saying Diddy was supposed to be doing some work with prisoners, okay? And that's what the engagement that he had signed up for was. And basically, according to Jay, who was actually there at the court, he said that they likely did that so that if Diddy did get off that day, if he did go home that day, they could show the judge, well, look, here's what he's going to be doing. We've already signed him up, for to be doing work in the community, to be helping other prisoners or whatever. So that would have worked in his favor, right? So that's what that was. But he's sitting there lying on this man, saying that he had already planned to go on a book tour. When did he write a damn book? Honey, some people just don't care about lying, okay? Don't even care about lying. And then was over there talking about people, I guess naming people that Trump had pardoned already. Speaking of that, we're going to talk about Trump because he's out here talking about Diddy asking for a pardon. So we're going to get into that. But sitting up there talking about people that Trump pardoned, I guess that's what they were talking about because I didn't hear the whole thing. I just happened to see it when somebody sent it to me. I'm like, I don't have time to listen to this whole thing. But they said something about Kwame Kilpatrick because y'all know Trump pardoned him. Okay. And because he was at Michi X's speaking engagement a couple of years ago at the Black Agenda. But anyway, when that fool said that, she is so damn stupid. She was like, oh, the mayor of Detroit's in prison. I'm thinking, girl, he's been to prison and out for years. Like, she is so dumb, but wants to call everybody else dumb and broke and dusty. I'm sorry, but nothing's dusty but that wig. But let me continue. Now, with that all being said, honey, I'm sorry. Let me stop throwing shade because, honey, when I hear people throwing shade over this way, I just do the same thing back because y'all know I'm petty as hell. Okay? But let me stay on topic, honey. All right. So, Suge Knight reacts to Diddy's sentencing. Okay, anybody else would have been cooked. Now that's what Suge Knight says. Anybody else would have been cooked. The Death Row Records co-founder says he was waiting on Diddy to shake some A during sentencing. Suge Knight, please sit down, okay? They say he's broken his silence regarding Diddy's 50-month sentencing. The incarcerated Death Row Records co-founder spoke with Art of the Dialogue from prison following the ruling to discuss how he believes Diddy got lucky. As far as Puffy is concerned, it's a great day for him, Knight began. It's an even better day for his family. Overall, though, it's not surprising. We all know one thing. Like I said before, Puffy has strong ties with the government, with the feds, and anybody else would have been cooked. First of all, Suge, the feds really wanted to take Diddy down. Make no mistake. Okay, whatever ties if ever Diddy had any, honey, none of it helped him. Okay, the reason Diddy is where he is right now, as how this case turned out, is because Diddy had the wherewithal and the resources to afford a dream team of attorneys. Let me tell you all something, and let this serve as a reminder, okay? Because people say that, oh, when you're rich, you can get off. Rich people can pay their way out of it. No, it's not that they can pay their way out of it. It's that when you have the money, you can afford very good counsel. You can afford the best counsel, just like OJ when he had Johnny Cochran. Okay, there are many rich people who've gone to prison. Now, right? Phil Spector. Okay, Phil Spector went to prison. All right, and Phil Spector, he was bigger than Diddy as far as power and all of that was concerned, and as far as his status in the music industry. All right, check the record. He went straight to prison. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, Martha Stewart, that's right. Honey, Lil Kim wins. Okay, so I'm saying, honey, no, we can't act like just because you're famous, you're not going to prison. Because famous people go to prison every day. Okay, it's the fact Harvey Weinstein's in prison right now. But the bottom line is, if you have the money, you can afford adequate counsel. And then sometimes you can get a team of attorneys like the ones Diddy had, like the ones OJ had, and then you can get off. Okay, because your attorneys are just that good. And I'm sorry, but just looking at the Fed's attorneys, they're lackluster. I mean, we all saw how the young Jason Driscoll worked them, how he made them look stupid in court when they quoted the wrong law. They didn't even realize the law had been amended in December of 2024, okay, or 2023. And Driscoll had to point that out to them. Okay, he also had to correct the judge. Jason Driscoll ate them alive. Okay, they're just not that smart. No, they think they are, but they're not. And that's why they lost, because they were working against some attorneys who were much more, you know, intelligent and more studied than them. So, anyway, with that all being said, let's get back into Suge Knight. Now, the 60-year-old claim, dang, Suge Knight 60? Sheesh. Time goes by, doesn't it? The 60-year-old claims that Diddy's sentencing was the first time in history that a person going to get sentenced could actually put on a campaign like they're running for president of the United States. Y'all hear this? Diddy or Knight shaded the video shown in the courtroom of Diddy spending time with his family in an effort to gain mercy from the judge and joked, only thing I was waiting on was them bringing out the DJ and start playing music and letting him do what he does best, dance and shake that ace and end up with no time. He did admit that due to Diddy's alleged ties to the government, it wasn't possible for him to get a lot of time or really get punished. Suge Knight, sit down somewhere. The Compton native added that the sad side of the sentencing was that not one of his baby mothers came in support of him or testified. But both Sarah Chapman, mother of Chance Combs, and Dana Tran, mother of Love, submitted letters of support to the judge, with the latter respectfully asking for compassion. Chapman claimed that Diddy has proven himself to be a new man. Knight noted that it was a good day for hip hop and name dropped Usher and Russell Simmons as two people who can't wait for Diddy to come home. He also called out Albie Shore as someone whose story needs to be heard, saying it's a great day for the Combs family. Might be a sad day for the victims, but all in all, we have to take this time and prove ourselves. Okay, take this time and rebuild hip hop. Suge Knight, listen, this is the thing that gets me. This is the thing that gets me. Reggie said Suge is hating. Of course he is. That's exactly what he's doing. Okay. Why is he mad? Why is he mad? Carly said no one testified for the defense. They didn't see any point. Exactly. So he said they didn't come to support him. Well, they did come to the court. They were all in court during the trial. What is he even talking about? They didn't need to come to the sentencing. And also, nobody testified for the defense because they were winning and they knew it. Okay. And so, like Judge Judy always says, if you're winning, just shut up. Okay. You don't want to blow it for yourself. So that was all nonsensical. But Suge Knight is good for a laugh or two, but that's about as far as I take it. Okay. So now let's get into this domestic abuse. Listen, here's what I want you all to pay attention to. They can't demonize Diddy anymore because the stuff that he was accused of, he already beat the case. But now they just keep on talking about domestic violence, which he was never convicted of, never even tried or charged with. Okay, but so here's the thing. They have a domestic abuse advisor who wants to shed some light on the outcome of Diddy's sentencing. So let's get into it, because I promise you I want to hear this. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Let's get into it. Find it all so interesting.
An update now on the breaking news we're following this afternoon. Rapper Sean Diddy Combs is in court as we speak, waiting to learn how long he will serve in prison after being convicted on prostitution-related charges this summer for flying people around the country for sex. However, a jury found him not guilty on more serious sex trafficking charges. I want to welcome attorney Margot Lindauer. She's an advocate for survivors of domestic and sexual abuse. Margot, thank you for joining us this afternoon here on Boston 25.
Thank you.
When you and I last spoke back in July following the verdict in this, you said, and I quote, "This sends the message that men, particularly in power, can get away with some very serious and very problematic behavior." In court this afternoon, the judge said that he is considering a sentence probably somewhere in the 6 to 7 years range. Prosecutors have asked for 11. His attorneys are asking for basically time served. Would that change the message at all to you?
Yes, at some level it would. A sentence of 6 to 7 years is a significant sentence. It shows that the crimes are serious and that the punishment is serious. I think what we're seeing today, however, could send a mixed message to survivors.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about that, because the folks in court right now, his pastor, his family, loved ones who are speaking on his behalf, hoping to see him potentially walk out of court. What is that? What message does that send to survivors?
I mean, I think it sends a message that their experiences don't matter, or certainly don't matter as much as his experience of being incarcerated. I think it also shows a disengagement from the real fear that many of the victims in this case fear about his potential release.
Well, and to that point, a big part of this case was the video of Cassie Ventura. We all remember that video in the hallway. It is hard to watch. She has come forth publicly. One, how difficult is that to do for survivors? And more importantly, how important is it for them to do that?
It's almost impossible for survivors to do for a variety of reasons. But one of them is that the data shows that it actually puts victims in much more danger participating in a criminal case against their abuser. Now, think about this case with the differential power dynamics between someone and Sean Diddy Combs. The power dynamics in terms of his professional placement within the entertainment industry, but also his access to economic resources, as well as all different levels of support that we're seeing now in terms of the testimony on behalf of his defense. So it is almost impossible for victims to come forward. When they do come forward, they do face increased danger. And when that danger is not recognized, it can be very problematic.
Final question for you in the few seconds that we have left here. Regardless of the outcome of this case today, what is the message that survivors should take away? What would you like them to know?
Well, the message that I would like survivors to take away is that they're incredibly brave, and that the fact that the judge is considering a longer sentence than the defense has proposed shows that the judge in this case is also taking the underlying allegations seriously. Now, we know he wasn't convicted on the more serious charges, but the judge is allowing a lot of things in at the sentencing hearing that lead me to believe that he is also taking this case very seriously.
We are watching it very closely to see what that decision is when it comes down. And of course, we'll break it right here on Boston 20.
All right, thanks, Margot. That was all nice. So anyway, y'all heard it. Now, the thing is, like I said, it's just all this talk about domestic violence, and Diddy was never charged with any of it. So that's how that goes. Now, with that all being said, there's a young lady who did a video, and she was calling out Cassie, basically saying that she thought Cassie should go to jail too. I mean, we know there's a bunch of people that said that, but she actually did a video about it, so I'm going to go to it.
Cassie Ventura should be in jail. And honestly, I don't see why Diddy was in jail. If Diddy should have been in jail, it should have been for something like abusing Cassie. But it took me some time to come up with this video because I wanted to make sure that what I was seeing was correct. And I don't know if y'all saw the same thing, but based on testimonies, Cassie was pretty much the ringleader. Diddy was sitting in the background, yeah, having a good time enjoying himself, watching Cassie do weird stuff. But realistically, they said Cassie gave them the money. Cassie contacted them. Cassie opened the door. So it's just kind of like Cassie was in the acts of doing things. I didn't hear not one person say they saw Diddy have sex with anybody. It was literally just Cassie. So a lot of this testimony is on the hearsay of Cassie, who already got fucking paid. Why is she back for more money? You know what I mean? Like, why is she back for this testimony when she already got paid? Her testimony should have been stricken from the books at that point, because again, she already, what did he pay her for? You know what I mean? And then on top of that, I don't know what type of husband Cassie got. I mean, I think he's probably using her, but it takes a very strong white man to forgive the things that Cassie has done and said she has done. I mean, you would have to, I mean, I wouldn't even want to go to court to tell nobody the things that Cassie has done. And she got a husband and children who are eventually, I feel like Cassie is worse than Kim Kardashian. I'm sorry. She's been with hundreds and hundreds of people and four at a time for 36 hours. You know what I mean? Kim and them, they undercover little 304s, but Cassie is so freaked out. I don't think that anyone could please that girl. I think that Cassie, is unpleasable sexually because of all the experiences that she's had. But I digress. I really think that, like I said, if Diddy would have went to jail for anything, it should have been putting them paws on Cassie. I don't think it should have been for having a good time.
Y'all heard what she said, honey? She said it should have been for putting them paws on Cassie. What do y'all have to say about that? Pretty Wings, hold on. Hold on. Kane says, please get her off the screen. Cassie was not a victim for the charges Puff was tried on, and everybody knew Jane Doe was a prostitute. Okay, that's what he said about that last report where the lady was the abuse advocate or whatever. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. That's why I played it, because I just wanted you all to see how that's the only thing they keep harping on, because they have nothing, because the S trafficking and the racketeering didn't fly. So they have nothing, absolutely nothing. Okay. And you're right, beloved. Okay. Pretty Wing said, not worse than Kim. I know, right, honey? That was a hard hitting. Okay, that was hard hitting right there. When she said worse than the Kardashians. Okay. So one box says if Cassie goes to the pen, she will come out wearing sideburns. Box, you need to stop. Not sideburns. What is wrong with you all? I'm kicking you all out of here, okay? And who is this calling me, honey? They're going to call me back. That is so hilarious. If she goes to prison, she's going to come out wearing sideburns. I am absolutely done, honey. That was hilarious. Okay. Thank you for that one, beloved. That was another good one. Okay. Y'all need to do stand-up comedy, some of you. Okay, between that and the one LeVar came in with earlier, I am done for the day. All right, and thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings, honey. Okay, let me continue if I can. Hilarious. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, oh, wait a minute. I almost forgot Trump. Yeah, let's talk about Trump, because Trump's been going all around town just bragging, that, hold on. There was oh, anyway, I had something I was going to show you all with Mark Garagos, what he said, but I forgot. I think I deleted it now. But anyway, I forgot about Trump. Okay, so Sean Diddy Combs asked Trump for a pardon, according to him. Now, Trump can't hold ice and water. President Donald Trump told reporters in the Oval Office on Monday, October the 6th, that Sean Diddy Combs has requested a pardon, as he's set to serve several more years behind bars. Here's what Trump said. A lot of people have asked me for pardons. A lot of people have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff, Puff Daddy. He just asked me for a pardon. He reached out. He sent a representative. He wants me to free him. And clearly he must be desperate. Y'all hear that? Trump needs to sit down somewhere. Okay? Trump has several seats. He didn't say he must be desperate. I just threw that in for good measure, because that's probably what he wanted to say, honey. He couldn't wait to get out and say that. Okay, so anyway, this wasn't, of course, the first time that Trump addressed where he stands with the music mogul. Remember he did that interview August the 1st on Newsmax with host Rob Finnerty, okay, talking about he didn't know what he would do. He'd look over the evidence and all that. And so now he's saying that Diddy has asked him for a pardon. Now, he didn't say whether or not he was going to grant it. But at this point, listen, Diddy doesn't need a pardon, in my opinion. Diddy does not have a lot of time. The best thing for him to do is to just do that time and take the rug program, okay, and just come out and be a changed person. All right? That's what I suggest. Make the best of it. I mean, sometimes, hey, they say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? And time goes by so fast. I'm sure to fly by. Now, with that all being said, here's another article. President Trump has revealed Sean Diddy Combs has asked him for a pardon after the rapper's sentence was handed down by a judge in a New York court earlier this month. And so he goes on to talk about Diddy asking for the pardon after the sentencing last week. Diddy was hit with a 4-year and 2-month sentence, as well as a $500,000 fine, which is the highest that the judge could impose. Now, shortly before Sean Combs left the courtroom, he was seen telling his mom and children, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Now, speaking earlier this month about the possibility of pardoning Combs, Trump said, probably, I was very friendly with him. I get along with him great. Seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him very well, but when I ran for office, he was very hostile. Trump, sit down somewhere. Okay? Sit down somewhere. All right, so anyway, that all being said, I mean, what do you all think? Matt said time in prison doesn't go by fast. Yeah, you're right, beloved. I actually thought about that as soon as I said it. I said to myself, okay, it might go by fast for you, but then it's going to be in prison. It's likely going to drag by. Okay, it's going to be like watching paint dry or something. I know, I get it. But I'm just saying, in the real world, and those that are outside of the prison walls that are waiting on him like his children, hopefully it'll go by fast for them. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, it is what it is. Diddy really should be thanking his lucky stars because he did not get a lot of time. And considering that the prosecution was asking for at least 11 years, he got off really good. Okay, could have been better, but this is nothing to cry about. This is like, not that bad to me. Okay. That's just my opinion. But hey, what do y'all think? I mean, I do think the judge could have just let him go with time served because of the convictions that he had. The Mann Act charges, we know how that goes historically and how people get sentenced for that historically. So I think they should have gone by that. But since they didn't, or since the judge didn't, it is what it is. But it still was not a bad deal. That's just my opinion. Okay, that's just my opinion. Now, with that all being said, let me see if I can find this video real quick. Oh my God, I hate when I do this. Don't y'all hate when I lose my receipts? I literally just had it. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Let me just, wait a minute. That's not what I'm looking for. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay, so I can't find it. I'm not going to waste y'all's time. With that being said, I'm going to play some of Jay's video. I'm going to go specifically to the part where he's explaining this whole thing about Diddy already being setting up to go speak to these people, these prisoners or whatever. Okay. I'm quite sure Jay doesn't mind me using this. And you all make sure you follow his channel. It's Conversations with Jay. Conversation spelled Khan Versations. All right. Y'all should know it by now. He's been on here plenty of times. But with that all being said, check out his channel if you haven't done so. All right. Here we go.
Oh, I was talking to somebody. I'm not going to say their name. Somebody told me who supposedly set it up. I thought that was I don't know. I don't know.
I think that it was blown out of proportion and people ran with that, and they were saying it for the media. The prosecution knew he wasn't going to get no 11 years, so they were saying stuff just so that the press could take it and run with it. But that stuff they said in the morning about he's already booked a speaking engagement on the Monday, that's not what happened. What had happened was, obviously, when you're making a plea during sentencing, when you're making a plea to the judge to get out today, the judge wants to know you're not just going to sit at home. You're just not chilling. Like, what are you doing? Why are you better off to the world outside than inside? Like, why is it better for you to be outside than inside? So what they did is they partnered with a community leader and a program that already exists, right? That helps reform ex-convicts and also goes into neighborhoods that like the low income neighborhoods and stuff like that. They partnered with this community leader, and they said, we already have him ready, that if you let him out today, he's going to be right to work with our program. He's going to be speaking to people in the prisons. He's going to be speaking to people who have
extort him. When Puffy hit the compound, he wanted him convicted, man.
You know,
TMZ.
you think about it. Did you?
Which one?
I thought it was, personally, I thought it was too long. The one that you posted on your page.
Oh,
that they submitted.
I thought it was dope.
I thought it was dope.
I thought it was dope. See, and then I don't know. I didn't read Judge Submaranian's thing. Maybe you can tell me. Did he mention anything about the video, or his? No. Did he mention anything about Puffy building a school in Harlem, building another school in the Bronx, charter school?
He did mention something about the video. He mentioned, he started with that you have done a lot for your community, specifically the Black community, as we have seen in the video. So he did.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, he did refer to it, actually, as a matter of fact.
So why? So he don't get no downward departure for that? He didn't get no credit for that? But
yeah, you know what?
I didn't think it was too long.
Pull that up. He talks about it in the beginning. So why don't you pull that up? Because that's one of the first things.
I didn't think it was too long. I thought it was excellent.
Harvey from TMZ thought it was horrible, though.
Yeah,
Harvey from TMZ thought it was horrible. He said it was like horrible, and the production and everything.
Oh yeah, TMZ wanted him convicted, man.
You know,
TMZ wanted him convicted.
I saw it first on Sean G's page, and because he posted it in the morning, and I actually was like, the video was in the background when I was getting ready, and it actually inspired me. Like when I was getting ready and stuff, it's just that in the court, because I had watched it before, it was good.
Man, shout out to Steve. Shout out to his son playing the hockey and shit. Shout out to Keisha. Shout out to Puffy's mother and to his daughters, man. Puffy is gonna be all right. He's gonna be fine.
That's what
he's still a young man. He's still young. He's gonna be fine. Them niggas gonna protect him.
The judge said to Puff, now all those people that you've carried over the years, allow them to carry you. That's what the judge told him.
The judge said, what now?
Yeah, the judge really did make this, like, he wanted to be, he's been waiting patiently to have his little moment during this trial.
What did he say, Jay?
He said to Puff, you're gonna be fine, basically. And he said, all the people that you've been carrying over the years, now let them carry you. All right, read this stuff from the judge.
What he said, I didn't get that part. I was watching Law and Crime when they were reading it, and they said that basically said the judge looked at him and was like, it's just 4 years. Life still continues after that. And he said that it's not the end of the world, basically. And yeah, that part that you said, Jay, about let those people carry you now.
Reggie says Diddy is still nefarious, in my opinion. Yeah, he probably is, Reggie, and so are you. Reggie, so are you. Reggie, you're still nefarious too, all right? Now sit down somewhere. I see OG Patrice has popped up. Hey, OG Patrice. Leon said Diddy is not young. Okay, honestly, he isn't, all right? I mean, that might be young to some people, I guess. Mama Joyce said TMZ is on Diddy's side. Did I miss something? Yeah, they're definitely on Diddy's side. Okay, definitely. They just didn't like the production of that video. They probably thought it was too much. And as a matter of fact, Reggie, DJ Big Six said we're all nefarious. Speak for yourselves, DJ Big Six. You all absolutely are. Not me though. But let me continue.
That you've carried over the years.
Yeah, I just don't have my notebook.
That sounds like mockery to me.
Yeah. Well, I felt like it was patronizing a little bit. I didn't like it as much. I had already just not taking anything seriously anymore because the judge gave him 50 months and I was pissed. So, but a lot of people, when he was building up to the 50 months, I'm telling you, a lot of people in the courtroom were thinking he was going to get more people were like talking to, you had people who were supporting Puff like, oh my gosh, oh, here we go. And then you had other people who were against Puff. They were like gleaning. They were like kind of happy. They thought he was going to go towards the 8 or 9 years, closer to that 11 years. But go ahead and read this. I got to grab some water.
So this is what the judge said. At the outset, I want you to understand, Mr. Combs, you are not being sentenced for acquitted conduct.
Now, I want you all to hear what the judge actually said from the transcripts, because y'all know how people be out here lying and painting narratives. But let's continue.
But under 3553, I must consider many things. Mr. Combs, you are a self-made artist who has inspired community of color. We saw the video. The free game course in the MDC, the court hopes. Sorry?
No, sorry. I was just, my bad. I shouldn't have interrupted.
The court hopes you continue to expand it. You are devoted to your family. The court, of course, consider the collateral consequences. The court has to consider all of your history here. A history of good works can't wash away the record in this case. You abuse these women. You use that abuse to get your way. Freak offs and hotel nights. The evidence of this abuse is massive. I was sitting right here during the testimony. This was subjugation. That is the reality of what happened. These offenses irreparably harmed 2 women. You plied them with drugs. Why did it happen so long? You had the power and resources to keep it going. You were more than a John. A significant sentence is required to deter. You say you're sorry and you won't do it again. After Ms. Ventura's civil lawsuit was filed, after the video was public and investigation started, you had a brutal hotel night with Jane, punched her in the head. Jane said
she hit him first.
Yeah,
she hit him first.
I won't mention anything like that.
If she would have hit me first, I'd have whooped her ass too.
She didn't just hit him first. She slammed his head into the kitchen.
Exactly.
Then she
because by that time, she was already meeting with the feds, and the agents told her, start a fight with him.
Exactly.
Start an altercation with him so we can capture the violence. They did that shit to me in my case with Little Sean's mother. She did the same shit to me. The same shit.
See that?
Yeah, it is really weird because like even going through this, it just sounds like the judges really just have selective memory and he's just nitpicking. Even the thing where he submitted, where he said that he denied the 33 and the 29, those reasons that he gave just sound like he chose what he wanted to believe and not was actually what was fact.
He chose what they told him to choose. That's what he did. That's what he chose, what they told him to choose. Him and Jane had one fight, and this was after Cassie's civil suit. And the feds had decided we're going to bring the criminal complaint because Cassie's civil suit was the foundation for that criminal complaint. And then the agents that was meeting with her, the Homeland Security, the FBI, they told her, go start a fight with that nigga and record it and all of that. Because he never hit her up to that point. That ain't, you know what I'm saying? He never hit her because she was just something to do.
Exactly. So he said, Jane says he told her, take these pills, do out there and S is D. Yeah. And F him. I don't care. The court is not convinced this would not happen again. The court has considered the programs. They are outweighed by the trial record in this case. Exploitation and violence against women must be met with real accountability to promote respect for law. The court reaches a few conclusions. 135 months would be more than necessary. Here, the data shows a wide variety of sentences. Weighing all the relevant factors, the court determines that the sentence is 50 months of incarceration. And then these are some of the, and then he said, the court imposed a fine of $500,000, including to defray the costs of imprisonment.
Yeah, all that stuff. But jump into that part where he says, I want to speak to the strong women who came forward.
Oh, yes. I want to speak to strong women who who came forward. Ms. Ventura and Jane, you've been through trauma we can't imagine. Ms. Ventura said it was force and degradation. It was I want to say we heard you. You weren't just speaking to the jurors, but to other victims. You stood up to power. It's not easy. Violence behind closed doors doesn't have to stay secret forever. I know you still bear trauma, but you've taught us you don't have to stay a victim. Dr. King taught us out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. Mr. Combs, your mom writes that you have always been a good son. The same power that enabled you to hurt these women, you can use to help. And then it says Combs is sitting down with his hand folded.
Yeah, the IE network said he was obsessed with Cassie. He kind of was. He kept bringing up Cassie and the letters and this and that. You know what's crazy is I didn't think that those letters would have much of an impact, but they really did. The letters that Cassie wrote, the 2 letters that she wrote.
Didn't write them letters, man.
Oh, yeah, her lawyer wrote them.
Doug Wigdor wrote them letters.
The lawyer
because you best believe they called Cassie and they called Jane 2 weeks ago and said, could both of y'all come to the sentencing and give a statement against Puff to help them? And they said, man, hell no, we ain't come. Matter of fact, I'm hoping he called me when he get out so we can do some more freak-offs.
You know, Gina was there. Gina was in the court.
Gina came?
Yep, Gina was in the court. Yeah, Gina was there. So that was, for those of you guys who do not know who Gina was, that was victim number 3 who refused. She either refused to come or she would have blown up the Fed's case. So they ended up getting her out of there.
They couldn't convince Jane and Cassie to come. So they asked Mia's lying ass, who was also testifying under a pseudonym. Brian Steele had her crying on the stand. Get your fake ass out of here. Get your fake ass out of here. Then Maureen Comey jumped up. Your Honor, I think Mr. Steele is harassing the witness. You're harassing the witness with his style of cross-examination. And Judge Rainey said, I don't see that. I don't agree with you on that. Well, what the hell is he supposed to do? My man facing life without the possibility of parole. She up there like this, Mia.
Yeah,
Get your fake ass out of here with your family. That was the day I went into court. They tried to get me kicked out, but I didn't get kicked out.
You know, she put on a fake voice. I didn't know that was.
I heard. I didn't know that either.
But
and Puff was hitting it. He was hitting it. She's supposed to be Cassie's best friend, but she fucking Cassie's man, hanging out with. Come on, man. This is wild, man. This is wild.
It was all. The whole thing was an embarrassment. The whole
Hollywood T. And that case triggered the 826, the Amendment 826 in this prison situation.
Yeah, and I do remember me saying, like, before they had the verdict, I do remember saying, based on everything that I heard in the trial, like he was pretty messed up with the drugs. And I do remember saying to myself, you know, maybe he could use a little sit down for a year or so, just get his head right. You know, I know people are like, yep, he's been in for a year. Yeah, but he's been in for a year pending a case. So every day you still have hope, you know what I'm saying? And every day you're not really working on yourself in that time. You know, you're working on your freedom and getting free. But now he has time to just sit down and work on himself. And I became a bigger fan of it. I wasn't really much like a huge fan because it's a little bit before my time. But as I was watching the trial and learning more about him and his businesses and stuff like that, I actually became a bigger fan of his. And you kind of start cheering for him because then when you realize that the charges were trash and it was all trumped up charges, you realize, you know, this is a miscarriage of justice. So I even became a bigger fan. And so I actually am cheering for him to just get his head right. I think he should take that was it RDAT? I think he should take that. And I think he can have a spiritual journey and a turnaround in a year, and he'll be home in a year, I think.
Listen, man, Puff is getting ready to meet some of the smartest men he's ever met in his life. When I went to prison, I met some wizards, man.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there. I wanted you all to hear from what the judge said, basically. So, listen, I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. Hold on. I'm looking at some of these comments. Okay, Elite Leo says, hold on, let me get this off the screen real quick. Okay, so Elite Leo says, and Deontay, who answered no on the stand if he's planning on filing a lawsuit, is now filing a lawsuit. Crazy. All right. I thought that was interesting too, beloved, because my thing was all this time, and this was all very calculated to me with Deontay. I don't know who put him up to it. Was it Douglas Wigner? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I thought it was very interesting that he filed that lawsuit a week before Diddy was supposed to be sentenced, and then wrote a letter about why Diddy needs to stay in jail. First of all, sir, you were not involved in the 2 convictions that Diddy had. Okay, so I don't even know why that his letter should have even mattered. So, I don't know. It was just a whole bunch of stuff going on that I thought was sketchy. Okay, that I thought was sketchy. Now, Terry Hinton says neither party is innocent, Diddler or the women that he was dealing with. Okay, I mean, hey, they all were doing the same thing. Natasha said, I work as a cook. I work as a cook in a federal halfway house. They are very smart. You know, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. These people are smart because many of them, they spend their time locked up reading and researching, something that they never would really have been doing if they weren't sitting down somewhere in prison with nothing to do and nowhere to go. And because look at young Pharaoh. Now, the young Pharaoh has lost his mind now. I don't know what they did to him, but when young Pharaoh started going off script and saying things they didn't like, all of a sudden he starts acting and talking crazy. But prior to that, young Pharaoh had a very brilliant mind, and he had done about 3 years in prison, I think. And he obviously was doing a whole bunch of reading and researching. So I absolutely agree with that. Now, with that all being said, one box says Sean could be out of there sooner than we know. Okay. Elite Leo says that just proves how all liars was in cahoots with each other, and they were all talking to each other prior to testifying. Exactly. Okay, so anyway, and I'm gonna tell you all something too that they said on Jay's live. They said that Cassie was still talking and dealing with Diddy even in 2019 and 2020. Now, I told you all, and I don't know where they got that from, but I absolutely believe it because I already told you all that I was told that she was still dealing with Diddy too. Okay? That's why I know that Cassie didn't write that letter. Her attorney probably wrote that letter or got somebody to do it. But we already know that didn't even sound like Cassie. Okay? And they said the same thing. Y'all heard them. So anyway, with that all being said, Troy talking about I'm late, but I'm here. Hey, beloved, we're about to close out now. Okay, so listen, if you missed the previous broadcast, please go back and check that out. Okay. AJ Matthews said, Queen, them is nothing but facts. You talking. Been there, done that. Okay. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Troy says real talk. Okay, so anyway, I'm about to be out of here, beloveds. I will see you all in the morning. And was there something else I wanted to tell y'all? Yeah, we got to go in on Trump tomorrow. Okay, I just had to bring you all this information. I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. With that all being said, I will see you all in the morning. Everyone, please like and share. Make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. And here's the thing: listen, you all. Now, somehow, some way, and I don't know how this is happening, but there's a couple of people that told me that their comments were not showing up in the chats. Thank you, Glitz and Glam. I appreciate you, beloved. They were saying that their comments were not showing up in the chat, or they weren't able to type in the chat or whatever. And I didn't block them. Now, I don't know if one of the moderators accidentally blocked them, but you moderators, please be careful. But if you notice that you're typing in the chat and no one is responding to you, please do me a favor and send me an email. Okay. If you notice that you're responding in the chat, like if you're just saying hello or whatever, and nobody's responding to you at all ever, you may have been hidden from the chat too. And I don't know if ScrewTube is doing this, because you know some of these little ScrewTube mods be hating. Okay, y'all know some of these little ScrewTube mods be hating sometimes. They've literally been in my chat before. Okay, so I don't know how these people are getting hidden. I had to unhide people today. So if you notice anything like that, please send me an email at queenahmadiyyah@gmail.com so I can check to see. And also, when you send me the email, send me also along with it the link to your YouTube account. Okay, so that if you are hidden or whatever, I can unhide you, okay? Because they be playing games, honey. I don't know what's going on here, okay? I don't know what is going on. So anyway, with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done.